for the current court. With that, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. The that's right.
I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. The gentlelady from Indiana is recognized.
I'm going to strike the last word. I actually do not take, and agree the notion with gentleman from California that Supreme Court can take rights, because Supreme Court cannot give us any rights. All rights are provided by our Constitution and the people. And if the people believe that some rights needs to be in the Constitution, we have a process for constitutional amendments. We have this legislative branch that can legislate. But courts shouldn't be given or taken rights. It's interpret the Constitution. And if it is interpreted incorrectly, the courts can reinterpret that. But if we believe that the rights should be given, they should be explicitly stated in the Constitution, and we have a process to do constitutional amendments. If a gentleman doesn't like it, he should work on this process. If American people believe in to have given more rights and protection, they should be Constitution, like we have a Second Amendment rights, which actually under attack. But I also believe, we do not have this high moral ground to decide what is ethical or not. There are some transparency things that courts should recuse themselves. It already exists. There is financial disclosure. We can do it. But each branch should decide what code of ethics needs to be there. And our branch is infringing on other branches' rights and separation of power if we decide what kind of code of ethics they need to have. We follow our code of ethics, they need to decide, but there are some requirements could be. But we have no right to tell other branch what kind of codes they should have, and there is infringement on the separation of power, which is extremely important. So I completely disagree with this notion and debate here, and we have a process. If you disagree what courts does, we can override it, because American people have that ability. And it actually was done on purpose to make sure that we do not misinterpret and change our Constitution, because if we become a country with each government, the Constitution is changed. We create instability, and we'll start reminding third world country where each government comes and start interpreting the laws in a different way. So I think we have a very important institution. I think there is a lot of politics about packing, not packing, but it is very dangerous to go and set the precedent that we are going to start changing the number of justices, we're going to start changing the rules because we don't like. Elections have consequences, and elections have results. But ultimately, when you have justices, which actually originalists, they interpret Constitution how it's written. And a lot of times, even my conservative friends don't agree with that. But I think we do have a lot of good justices there that truly believe in the limited government and the rule of law, and believe their functions is, to interpret Constitution. And sometimes it doesn't land what Republicans like. So I would not say that the court is political. I actually think we have a lot of justices that me as a common sense person and not an attorney, but when I read in the opinion, I actually agree with a lot of that. So I think it's really the right thing to do, for us to respect the other branches, whether we agree or not, and deal with the work we should do as our branch. And I truly believe we also don't do enough work to oversee executive branch, pass budget, pass legislation, and have accountability regardless who's in charge, Republican and Democrat, because I think our branch lost their relevance and has a very low approval rating because we're not doing our job. And the power of a purse is one of the most significant power that's given to this branch, and we cannot even pass budgets, and we cannot even, hold the other one's branch accountable. I think maybe we should concentrate on other job instead of, criticizing some other branch and try to use a political message in which we're unhealthy and puts a lot of necessary pressure on justices there, and really put their lives at risk, because we politicize in Supreme Court, and this is really something that differentiates the republic from pure democracy, which leads a lot to dictatorship, and we have to keep this republic strong. It's very important, because this is the last stronghold that we have around the world, and maybe we can have more productive debates on real issues, not really doing politics. And I yield back.
The gentlelady yields back. Is there further discussion on the